Hello friends, welcome to my channel SS Learning Hub for Fundas and Concepts. Our today's topic is the whole brain theory and mind mapping. This topic is really important for students who want to understand the functioning of the brain and apply mind mapping principles while they study their subjects. The mind mapping helps the students to really present an exhaustive information and collective information in an organized way and enable them to recall and retrieve the information whenever they need it. In 1861, Dr. Paul Broca conducted a study on the language and left-right brain specialization on a patient who had problems with language. After several tests, Dr. Broca theorized that some language functions reside on the left side of the brain. Parallelly, Dr. Roger Sperry conducted a study for epilepsy, which gave him the 1981 Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine. Dr. Sperry explained that the brain has two hemispheres that perform tasks differently from each other. He discovered that the left hemisphere of the brain was performing tasks that were intuitive, creative, and synthesizing, while the right hemisphere of the brain was more adept with analytical, logical, reasoning, and critical thinking. Dr. Perry's theory was known as the split brain theory. Neuroscientist by the name Dr. Paul MacLean identified three distinct parts of the brain, namely neocortex, limbic system, and reptilian complex. This is also referred to as the triune brain theory. Ned Herman came up with his own theory called the brain dominance theory. According to this theory, people normally have a more dominant part of their body, like a more dominant leg, eye, or arm, which a person often prefers to use. Herman extended this dominance theory to the brain, which he concluded to having not just two parts but four: the upper left and right hemispheres and the lower left and right limbic halves. They are all connected to each other. Hence, Herman is regarded as the father of brain dominance technology. According to Herman's theory, there are four dominant quadrants of the brain. They are A. Cerebral mode. Keyword for this quadrant is analytical. B. Limbic mode. Keyword for this quadrant is organized. C. Limbic mode. Keyword for this quadrant is interpersonal. And limbic system. Keyword for this quadrant is imaginative. This is the quadrant D. For quadrant A, which represents analytical thinking, the preferred activities who is dominated by analytical thinking are collecting data, listening to informational lectures, reading textbooks, judging ideas based on facts, criteria, and logical reasoning. A person dominated with analytical thinking which belong to quadrant A, responds well to technical or financial information theories, charts and graphs, formal approach, and heavy data content. The person who has quadrant B as a dominant quadrant is more likely a conservative, structured, organized, detailed, and planned person. He prefers activities following directions, repetitive detailed homework problems, time management and schedules, planning and organizing. And he or she who is having quadrant B dominance is they respond well to agendas, goals and objectives, simple graphs and presentations, step-by-step procedures before concluding. If a person has a dominant quadrant C, they are more likely to be emotional, spiritual, feeling, sensory, and kinesthetic. Their preferred activities are listening to and sharing ideas, looking for personal meaning, sensory input, teamwork, and win-win situations. They respond well to creative and free-flowing activities, experiential activities like music and art, people-centered activities and discussions. Finally, a person with a dominant quadrant D, which is imaginative thinking, tend to be visual, holistic, intuitive, innovative, and conceptual. Their preferred activities are looking at the big picture, taking initiative, simulations, visual aids, appreciate beauty of a problem, brainstorming, and visionary. They respond well to fun activities, humor, future-oriented activities, experimentation, thought-provoking and challenging situations, and visuals. How does the whole brain theory enhance the learning process? It has been observed that brain dominance leads to thinking preferences that influence and improve learning styles. Quadrant A learners are very much into logical thinking, enjoy analyzing information, and understand better when presented with numbers and quantities. Quadrant A learners expect exact information that are straight to the point, and they would also want to be fed with lots of theories, numbers, data, logical explanations, and results of research studies. They will find it difficult to express their inner thoughts and emotions. Quadrant B learners easily grasp things in sequence, enjoy organizing ideas and things, assess situations and information, and apply what they have learned into practice. They will always demand for clear instructions or directions and would rather apply what they have learned in practical situations rather than just theories. They might find it difficult to understand concepts without any examples to show how these are applied. Their big challenges are in taking risks and doing things that are not clearly defined to them. A and B learners are often characterized as practical, reality-based, and down-to-earth persons. Quadrant C learners are very sociable learners who enjoy learning with group of whom they share ideas and projects. They are very focused and involved when trying to learn something. They also tend to reflect on what they have understood and acquired in terms of knowledge, and most of the time use their bodies and movement while learning. The C learner is also emotional and would share their emotions with a group. Personal feedback is therefore important to them. Quadrant D learners are the curious ones who enjoy discovering, experimenting, and exploring activities. They are strong thinkers when it comes to conceptualizing and putting all the seemingly unrelated parts and connecting those parts together. They are synthesizing and utilize their time in creating new ideas and concepts. The D learners enjoy games and surprises and are a visual learner, and they need different varieties of approaches to learning. D learners will have difficulty meeting deadlines and rigid environments. C and D learners are often characterized as fun, flexible, and open minded persons. Mind mapping. Organizing information and concepts through the use of maps or diagrams has been practiced among thinkers as early as 3rd century. A mind map is a diagram used to represent ideas or information branching from a central keyword or idea and used as an aid in study, organization, problem solving, decision making, and writing. Mind maps are useful visual tools that help in linking together concepts and information in such a way that the interconnection and interrelation of these are clearly laid out and easily accessible to help in problem solving and for reference and review. Mind maps are useful during brainstorming sessions, making decisions, organizing information, simplifying complex ideas, note taking, and even for personal use. 5 essential characteristics of mind mapping are: the center image represents the main idea, subject, or focus. The main branch radiates from the central image. The branches comprise a key image or a word drawn or printed on its line. Twigs represent the lesser topics. The branches form a connected nodal structure. How to use mind maps effectively? Yes, you can use mind maps effectively by the following. Use single words or simple phrases. Print words. Joined up or indistinct writing is more difficult to read. Use color to separate different ideas. Color can help to show the organization of the subject. Use symbols and images which can help you to remember information. And finally, use cross linkages. Information in one part of a mind map may relate to another part. I hope you all understood the topic, and for more information, please stay tuned to my channel. Thank you so much for listening. Cheers.